Tucker is going through a bit of a transformation. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but he's kind of out there on some things, and he's getting a lot of backlash for it. And people are starting to question motives and like what's going on in his brain right now. And particularly because he recently appeared on Joe Rogan, and there were parts of it which were great.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there was a lot of chatter about the evilness of anybody who supported and continues to support the fact that we dropped an atomic bomb on in Japan. And so it's like Tucker is cherry picking history to make the United States look bad, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
And it's
And
really
I don't like it.
I don't like it either. It's
don't
very
like that.
upsetting, and there's a lot of reaction. So we'll show you some of that reaction. But first, here is the clip in question. He's missing so much context, and I just don't get it. Like, what is he? And so many people here agree with him, and I'm like,
a ton agree with them. Yeah.
Oh
I mean,
my God.
it's easy for him to say that now, though, right? It's easy for him to be like, oh my God, those people were evil. Americans were evil. It's very easy for him to say that. And people are saying, yeah, he's right. Okay. Well,
no, he's absolutely not right.
But what if that didn't happen? What if we didn't do it? What would America look like right now? What would the world look like right now?
I mean, yeah, if that had not happened, think about the alternative. So this Amanda on Twitter, sure, dropping a nuclear bomb on civilians on a random Tuesday is definitely very bad. No one thinks that that's a good thing. No. But when we dropped the bomb, we were facing an ongoing war, and people like Tucker hate forever wars, and I do too. Nobody likes war.
No.
And we are rarely the people who instigate them, right? Our only options to stop that war were a U.S. ground invasion of Japan, drop the bomb, or do nothing. And so here are the potential consequences from those actions. A ground invasion would have meant more U.S. deaths. It did not guarantee a quick end to the war. It could have failed. We didn't even know exactly what was going to happen. And doing nothing and withdrawing would have meant more attacks like Pearl Harbor. So none of the options guarantee that there's not going to be casualties. This was the only one that gave any kind of hope that the war could end quickly with minimal U.S. casualties. And it was the right decision. And so how people can now argue that we shouldn't have done it, it's just amazing to me. And that's why there's so much of this reaction. The alternative was nearly wiping out the entire population of Japan in a bloody land invasion, which would have killed far more people than the bomb.
Yeah.
I mean,
but that's not evil. That's not evil.
I can't believe that this is the position you guys are taking.
This is the thing. I know.
What's happening?
I know, right? It's like, but because what's now we're in a position where we can look back and go, that's evil and this is not. It's like, okay, what? Because they just don't want to disagree with Tucker, right? They don't want to.
I guess they're just like, and it's the same way with Trump, right? Like some of the people I'm seeing are like the same people who like cannot ever admit when Trump does something wrong.
Right. And Candace is the same way. Yeah.
You guys, we're human and we're going to be wrong some of the time, including your heroes, Trump and Tucker. They are not always right.
Yeah. I mean,
I just can't even believe that this is even a conversation we have to have. It's amazing. It's amazing.
So did you know that Fast Growing Trees is the biggest online nursery in the U.S. with more than 10,000 different kinds of plants and 2 million happy customers in the United States? Did you know that? Did you know
I am one of them.
Yeah, I am too. I have an avocado tree growing in my backyard right now and rose bushes from them and they don't die. And I kill everything, as you know. So these things are still alive. They're still thriving, and it's all because of Fast Growing Trees.
Well, and they just make it so easy even for the dumbest, like non-green thumb people, because like they tell you what plants grow best in your climate and all that stuff. And then they have that huge inventory. And then you don't have to go to the nursery and like pack like dirt and all kinds of stuff in your car to unload. They just send it to you prepackaged in this beautiful way. Easy.
And then you just put it in the ground. You just put it right in the ground and then you're done. Bing, bang, boom. It's growing. You're like, what? I am an expert at planting now. Like I am a gardener. It's fantastic.
And right now, they've got the best deals online. They switch them up a lot. So you should always check fastgrowingtrees.com to see what's on sale right now. And if you are a Chicks on the Right audience member and you use code Chicks, you're going to get another 15% off of your first purchase when you use code CHICKS at checkout. And again, that's fastgrowingtrees.com. So lots and lots of reaction to that, as you might expect. And then what's more amazing is watching Tucker from the before times. Tucker was criticizing Pat Buchanan for doing and saying some of the exact same things that Tucker is now doing and saying. And it is amazing to watch this. Absolutely extraordinary.
I mean, this is part of the sad thing about Pat Buchanan, as far as I'm concerned. And just to restate, I mean, Pat does raise issues that I think are important. I mean, I think that, the sovereignty of the American military, et cetera. I mean, these are not just crank issues. But unfortunately, Pat Buchanan raises them in a way that I think is discredited. And when attacked, he can always fall back on the line, well, the tiny cabal that controls American politics doesn't like me because I speak truth to power. This is actually, incidentally, almost verbatim what he said the other day, that I offend the plutocracy, that I'm a wanted man by the inside the Beltway people, and in every sense cast himself as a victim who is sort of a Karen Silkwood of politics, someone who's so truthful that he's being hunted down by the conspiracy that runs Washington. I mean, it's all a bit much. Maybe Pat Buchanan just says things that are kind of kooky, and that's why he's being criticized. It's perfectly valid to question America's relationship with Israel. Israel has a lobby. It's perfectly fair, as far as I'm concerned, to beat up on Israel's lobby. But I don't think that's the reason that Buchanan is being labeled an anti-Semite. It's this kind of, as I've said, this relentless bringing up topics related to Judaism. I mean, famously, Pat, always beats up on Goldman Sachs, but never Morgan Stanley. I mean, it's really hard to. There is no point at which Pat Buchanan has held a press conference and said, I really don't like the Jews. I think they're a sinister force in America. But I think, and it took me years to come to this position. I mean, I'm not throwing the term anti-Semite around. But you reach a point when you say, well, gee, here's a guy who has gone out of his way to defend Demjanjuk and other accused Nazi war criminals, who's constantly attacked Israel, who's attacked American Jews for supporting Israel unduly, who's implied that American Jews push America into wars in which non-Jews die. There really is, and again, I'm not hysterical on this subject, but I do believe that there is a pattern with Pat Buchanan of needling the Jews. Is that anti-Semitic? Yeah. I mean, after a while, you conclude it is, in some sense, anti-Semitic. I mean, Pat Buchanan obviously has a lot of personal and affectionate relationships with people who are Jewish. So on a personal level, perhaps he's not. But on a different, maybe thematic level, I think he probably is.
It's just amazing. Amazing.
It's so hard to trust anybody 100% at this point. You know what I mean? And I don't. And I teach my kids, I'm like, just think critically about anything and everything that you hear or follow. You know what I mean? Just think critically about everything. Yeah. Every single thing.
It's so easy now for Tucker and anybody else to be like, oh, it's so evil of America to drop those bombs. Those decisions were not made in a vacuum. And
absolutely correct.
That there was every intention and every attempt to cause minimal possible damage to the United States civilians and military lives.
Right. And
that should always be the priority.
And to blanket statement, to make a blanket statement that everybody that made those decisions were evil.
Right. And if you still think that today, you're evil?
I have a problem with that. I do. I have a problem with that. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yes, Julia. Yes, we have made mistakes. That was not one of them for all the reasons that we just gave. And here's Ben Shapiro with more.
Turns out that it was necessary. By the way, if we had not dropped the atomic bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the alternative was either an amphibious assault that would have cost probably 1 million American lives, or more likely a giant blockade of the island of Japan, including the mass starvation of the civilian population.
That's not
which
evil.
would have resulted in millions of dead Japanese.
That's not evil at all.
So why is Tucker just abandoning the moral equation here at all? What is he doing here? That's what sort of.
I don't know.
That's the
question.
thing.
I do not know the answer to that.
Right. So what's better? Let's starve people. So, I mean, either way, people are going to be like, it's evil. War sucks.
Yeah.
war just sucks. And like, we just got through the whole first segment of our show talking about, war between Israel and Palestine. And it's like, it's not pretty. War sucks. And it's like, you can't apologize for the things that people do when they're involved in a war. It is what it is. War is hell. And I don't like the whole hindsight looking back and saying, well, that side was evil, but the other side, I mean, it's like, no, people are fighting to survive in a war. And so I just don't like this. I don't like this at all.
Even.